السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. ربي أني مسني الضر وأنت أرحم الراحمين. ربنا هب لنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. We have been studying the Prophet Ayyub's story told in the Quran. It's an interesting story. Not many verses are about it, but it is a very deep subject. We studied how important it is last week. For every one of us, we have lots of lessons to derive from it. So today, we can start from this 38:44, the last chapter, last verse. So this is how it goes. Inna wajadnahu sabiran. Ni'mal abdu innahu awwab. This part of the verse is related to our subject. So truly we found Job full of patience. How excellent a worshipper. He constantly turned to us in repentance. So that is what the Prophet Ayyub is very much well known for, his patience. But of course, there are many, many problems involved in this matter of being patient. What does it mean, being patient? We will go through it, but before we go through all these different aspects of being patient and nature of this life on earth, so many subjects actually. Yeah, so many subjects are related to us, related to this topic. So we have to go back to this verse again to understand the relationship between the verses, which says the first 21:8-3 says, وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. He says, the translation is of course rough translation, and Job, the Prophet Ayyub, when he called unto his Lord, behold, affliction, he said. Now the Prophet Ayyub is speaking, behold, affliction has visited me. Pay attention to the word affliction. Affliction in Arabic, dur, has visited me, touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. Now, we will go back again to another verse. Here it is. It is 38:41, which says, وَاذْكُرْ عَبْدَنَا أَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ, exactly as the previous verse we read. He is now speaking to God, calling upon God. And
I'm sorry, Dr. Ali, to interrupt. Can you make me a co-host so I can record? I'm really sorry for being late. I have something to do.
So Mimina, some people is recording, so you can record from here and take care of it, or wait for the friend send it to you. Okay, which one do you
Yeah,
prefer?
that's fine. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. They can record and they will give it. I'll get it.
Okay.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
ask him
Sorry.
to send it to you. All right. And he heard us now. Okay, it is over now. Now come back here. The verse says, وَاذْكُرْ عَبْدَنَا أَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الشَّيْطَانُ. Now, in the previous verse was أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. Now, the affliction, here it is. Here it is. Affliction has visited me, but in this verse, instead of affliction, it explains what affliction is. Shaitan. Oh, binusbin wa'adhabin. Now, Shaitan has visited me with weariness and pain. Now, we are puzzled now with two verses. One of them says, affliction is causing pain. The other one says, Satan is causing pain. That is a very extremely interesting way of reading the Quran, which every verse explains the other, helps the other. All of them should make sense within the whole context of the Quran. Now, what we call affliction, which hurts us, causes pain, but this subject, by the way, this subject is very delicate subject, so we have to be really fully attentive. I may not make it very clear, but try to follow how we should really understand this problem of patient. I am in pain, and in one verse, Ayyub, of course, God is speaking, but Ayyub is the example. Ayyub is the example. God is presenting as a physical example, which is practiced in one's life. So it means it is to be practiced by all of us. So we have to be ready for it, that if an affliction hurts, be careful, it hurts. It causes pain. But at the same time, Satan is causing pain. What does it mean? It's really puzzling. But don't worry, we can try to handle it, inshallah. Now, Ayub was really patient with the pain, all sorts of diseases. He lost his health, he lost his family, he lost his belongings in this world. But he didn't complain. He said, everything is from God, and that's it. If God is creating, that's all right. But the affliction continued. That is interesting. Until Satan started afflicting him. What does it mean? We talked about it quite a lot last week. But just to remember, what does it mean? The Satan started whispering. It means the thought came to his mind. I say, God is so merciful. Whatever he creates is beautiful. That's what in general Quran says. But I cannot bear it anymore. This is a key point. Now, which kind of mercy it is? I doubt it. Now this very severe test now he is undergoing. Which kind of mercy? He realized that the affliction is started doubting about God's being merciful, and also causing that his tongue, physically, he couldn't say anymore, God is merciful, don't worry about it. If the doubt comes to the heart, the tongue cannot say it, because heart says, oh, that is something questionable, isn't it? So how can you say it? And it is a complete despair. And then, only then, the Prophet Ayyub started saying that this is important now. Let me read the verse 38, 41. وَاذْكُرْ عَبْدَنَا. No, sorry. No, this one. No. وَأَيُّوبَ إِذْ نَادَى رَبَّهُ إِنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. Now, Ayyub started saying that, oh God, you are giving me so severe life conditions that now a doubt occurred in my life. That's why dur, it means affliction, turned into satanic whispering. Do you see the transition there? That's why one verse says, affliction visited me. The other verse says, Satan is harming me. So he says, look, as far as I know, maybe I knew before, you are the most merciful of the merciful. But please help me with your mercy so that I will acknowledge you are the merciful. I cannot bear it anymore, and I cannot say it anymore that you are the merciful. Please help me. I am losing my faith in you. Now, that is Ayyub's case. What lesson we can learn from it? Put yourself in the shoes of Ayyub. As an example, do you, after learning all this, that the harm is coming from God, is turned into losing one's faith in God, and it turns the physical pain, turns into belief problem, moral pain, when he started doubting about God's mercy. After learning all this, that any affliction happens to any person, if we don't go back to God, return to God, and ask an immediate cure, we cannot wait until we are about to lose our faith. What we have to do now, Quran teaches us, be careful. The pain that hurts you, the affliction which hurts you, may be used by the Satan as a means of losing your connection with God, losing your faith in God. Be careful about this stage. Don't wait, because you learn from the example of the Prophet Ayyub. He waited until he was about to lose the faith. He said, please God, if you are merciful, please help me. Give me cure. Help me. Don't wait until then. We learned this because any affliction can be utilized by Satan to drop doubts in our heart. So we learn from the teachings of the Quran, affliction may be used by Satan. So what we have to do, immediately we are in pain of any kind of affliction, any type of affliction, physical affliction, moral affliction, we have to turn to God and ask for forgiveness. So it means, I mean, if it is the case, I don't need to experience patience because Ayyub is famous for his patience. Now, we will concentrate on it today. What I put here, okay, here, you will see that under the title, you will see that patience is, or the means, turning to God to present your case without complaining. What does it mean? If it hurts me, of course it hurts me, I complain. Complain, I think there is a very fine line here. Complain about your pain, but don't complain what God created for you. There is a fine line there. We are expected to complain as Ayyub complained. Oh God, affliction has touched upon me, has really harmed me. So we have to say, look, God, what you created is causing affliction in my life and it is hurting me, but I am not complaining about your mercy. There must be a reason for it. So I cannot bear it if this affliction is going to be exploited by Satan, and at the end I may fall into doubting your merciful God or merciful Lord, being a merciful God. So please help me immediately, because we learned from the verse that we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait until we cannot really bear it. No. Any affliction, we have to utilize it to ask for forgiveness before it falls into Satan's hand. So it causes harm now, not only physical harm, it turns into a moral harm. It means your faith becomes or starts becoming shaky. Doubt enters into your heart. We, not only you, I too, keep hearing people, if God was merciful, why all these calamities are happening? You see, all the complaint, the stones of complaint are thrown on God, saying that it is your fault. I'm sorry. It is your fault. Turning to God. And complaining God's mercy. That is the horrible reality nowadays. Most of the people complain about anything which hurts people, which are called evil. But in fact, we will study more and more. Pain is real. Evil is our imagination. Evil is attributed to God. Pain is attributed to my body or to my being. So when we say, yes, I am hurt, that's true. And when I say, oh, please, before Satan takes it over and causes doubt in my heart that God is merciful, I will turn to God and ask him for cure. Now, we are sure that we are expected to admit our pains, that the pain or anything, any affliction hurts. We have to be careful. But we have to be also careful. It doesn't mean that if you have a headache, you don't say that you have a headache. No, you are suffering. Don't say that you are suffering. Whatever God creates is beautiful. But I am suffering. God, it is God who created this suffering. Also, who, it is God again, the same God again, who created the sense of disliking suffering, disliking headache, disliking uncertainty in your life, whether God is really merciful or not that much merciful, a little bit, but sometimes the things go out of his control. That is a real problem. Now, headache may God may create a painkiller or something you can handle it, but about doubting God, it is very hard to handle it. When the doubt falls into your heart, it is very hard to get out of it. Turn to God, as Ayyub said. Yes, pain afflicted me, but you are the merciful one. So please, what does it mean you are the merciful one? Please treat my pain with your mercy. I cannot bear it, and I'm afraid that the Satan can take over it and use it against you and cause doubt and unbelief in my heart. So I don't want it. I don't want to do this. So it is not only fair to ask God to treat our pains or the problems, any kind of, not necessarily only physical pain in your body. For example, you may have some sort of shortcomings in financial problems, maybe problems in your family life, maybe problems in your colleagues or your friends in the school or your teachers, professors in the school. Lots of things may happen, and also you may misunderstand something concerning the religious matters and then started doubting about the truthfulness of religion itself. These are all pains to human beings in general. Some of them are concerned to body, some of them are concerned to our emotional side, some of them are concerned to our spiritual side. They are all pains. We acknowledge all of them. But at the same time, we acknowledge that our Creator gave us the sense not like them. What does it mean? When I don't like something that God creates for me, what does it mean? It is a call from God, letting me know He is expecting to turn back to Him. Now, I think we have to go back to this verse here, which ends with the word here in Arabic, إِنَّا وَجَدْنَاهُ صَابِرًا نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ إِنَّهُ أَوَّابٌ. What does it mean? We found him, the Prophet Ayyub, full of patience. Yes, how excellent a worshipper he is, because he acknowledges his God. How does he acknowledge it? Acknowledge that his God's mercy is infinite. He constantly turns to us. This awab means constant turning to God. Now, with no hesitation, with no break. Please, God, you can do it. You can solve my problem. Please, you can solve. I believe that you are the Lord of the whole universe. You have enough power, you have enough wisdoms, you have enough knowledge. You know that I am in this terrible position. You can cure me. How much? Until the problem is solved. If it is not death. That is called ajal anywhere, appointed time. When the appointed time comes, it means come on. Now you are a successful up now, successful worshiper one. So come to me totally, not in this world. Get out of this body and come to me straight away because you deserve to be with me now. Of course, if you admit or if you constantly turn to God, never, ever give a break to your connection to God. Never. So say, oh God, you don't respond my prayers. No, no, no. God is waiting for your awab, as the word says. I said, it is an interesting thing that in the root, you can associate awab and Ayyub together. Although wab may be in some cases turns into ya. That is a usual case in Arabic grammar. So awab means that Ayyub was awab. Now, we know that Ayyub is patience. Now, but patience means whatever God creates, we have to be okay, accept it. No, no, no. He wasn't. Oh, no. This verse teaches us not accept it and don't turn to God. Accept that this pain, admit that this pain is causing a lot of trouble for you. Whatever the case is, whatever the pain is, spiritual pain, emotional pain, physical pain, financial pain, social problems, family problems, all of them are pain. Yeah, maybe the things are happening in the creation, in the universe, and on the earth, for example, especially that it is harming your property. It's a pain. No one wants it. So we have to be patient with the pain. Don't turn it into an enmity and criticism to God. Don't turn it into a criticism to God. But what are we expected to do? To be constantly aware, turning to God. Now, did you get it now what the Quran is teaching? Patience means being constant in turning to God until the affliction is removed from us. If the affliction continues for some time, it means God loves us to turn to Him. So turning to Him is lovable to God. So all the patience will or is definitely rewarded in this world because the patience and turning to God keeps our mind always alarmed, on the alert that this pain is created by God. It is a call from God to me. God is calling me to come to Him, to turn to Him. So all the words in the Quran help us to understand one side of the matter, another side of the matter, so that we will really come up with a conclusion. Okay. I think awesome co-host is asking for permission to speak. Okay, you can go. I am just muting myself. Go ahead, As.
Thank you, Brother Ali. So there were some comments. So I'm trying to understand when you say patience is constantly turning to God. Oh, what happened? Is your screen not being shared? we lost your screen. But constantly turning to God. So is that like the doubt of losing that constant turning to God aspect that makes one, realize this? Or because I'm already
Excuse me, Asim.
Did you lose
Asim,
connection?
excuse me. Do you hear me, Asim?
Yeah, now I hear you. Did you lose connection?
Okay. Let me correct the technical problem and then listen to you comfortably, okay?
Or
Now, very easy. What's that? Okay. Here it is. Let's see if the friends are with us still. Yeah. So there is a comment, did you say? Okay, let me do it properly. Okay, almost okay. Now I am ready. Now I am ready. All right. Now go ahead. Now I hit somewhere, unfortunately by mistake, and caused this problem. Now, okay.
sure, if you're okay. So no, so you were explaining about the patience being constantly turning to God. And so my question was about how do I understand that? So let's say the harm or the affliction is a kind of the doubts that are coming. It could be something wrongful ideas. It could be, as you said, could be anything with your relatives, could be your job, could be your financial, anything, but there are certain thoughts and doubts that are coming in. And although I'm still, there is this aspect of constantly turning to God, that all these scenarios are still being presented to me from God. Even it may be the physical pain as well that is presented to me. So now I'm realizing, so I'm constantly turning to God. So that is what patience is. So at what stage, what point do I realize that, this is something that is too much for me, is overburdening me, or is something I need to, is hindering me, or I'm having doubts in the mercy of God?
I think the question is clear, and I will go back to the subject. But before this, our friend Jabin asked this: how can we define affliction in this context? And then I'll come to your question. Now, how can we define affliction in this context? It means anything which hurts me, and God created within me a sense of disliking that thing, whatever it is. I don't like it. So I will acknowledge that the sense of dislike is given to me by my God. So there must be a wisdom in it. So don't deny the sense of dislike, whatever it is. We gave the example of, I mentioned the example of either social matter, financial matter, belief matter, physical matter, health matters. And for example, virus matters, that I don't want virus to come to me and to anybody, and I want it to go away. And I should, since I have this sense, anything you don't like is affliction. Did you get it? Anything you don't like is that because you don't like it, this sense is given to you by your creator. But the condition is this: you must be a person who acknowledges that he is created by the creator of the universe, by the owner of the universe, and all the senses in his being are created by God, so that he or she can understand that this sense is given to me by God. But if someone so arrogant, they cannot really accept that he is created, of course, The universe is created by a conscious being. Of course, this person is expected to interpret everything in terms of matter. And why I am afflicted by this affliction or pain? Because I was not lucky. Because nature acts on luck and random happenings. So the order is order, but order became as a result of random haphazard events, according to them. So he has no right to turn back to God. He has no background to turn back to God. So he has to complain. To what? To nature, and claim that I am a very unlucky man because I felt sick. I lost my job, or I felt sick, and maybe I lost my properties, and my friends are not really treating me well. I was in the hands of a very bad family, but this is all unlucky situations for him. So in order to have a healthy relationship, we have to, a person has to have a right stand in the universe, which is the universe cannot come into existence by itself accidentally, and the universe must have an owner, and therefore my body, my feelings are or must be created by him. So this feeling which is given to me, which dislikes pain, any sort of problems that I am facing, I have to use this sense as a means of what? To turn to God. Now, there are two stages about patience. About patience, as Asim asked. One side of patience looks to the affliction we are experiencing in this world. Just think about it. So we complain about it, we don't like it, and we want to get rid of it. We don't have to wait until it becomes unbearable. That is the misunderstanding of the context of Prophet Ayyub's narration in the Quran, or the explanation of God of this matter on the example of Prophet Ayyub. And I don't know Ayyub, but I know that I am a person. Ayyub was a person. God says a person experienced it. It is very much, most likely, you will experience this kind of things as well. So I will take the verse directly related to my reality, to my real living experiences. So that is how we should read the Quran. So I say, okay, God is telling me that affliction, as soon as the affliction hurts or starts hurting me, I have to utilize the sense God gave it to me. Because the affliction may be used, not maybe, really, definitely it is used. As we see the world, everybody complains about evil and say that if God is a merciful God, or if there was such a being who's called God, there should be no pain in the world, or no disaster, or they call it anything negative. So that is why it is a very, very big problem for human beings in the human history. So affliction has one aspect which is physical, if you like, on the earth, hurts me. But how about being patient with this event? As soon as anything afflicts me, I have to turn to God, use it as a call from my Creator. Don't pay. Who said that we have to pay it until the end? That is biblical interpretation of Ayyub's question, Ayyub's problem. But in the Quran, because affliction is interpreted as the act of Satan in the Quran, and being patient is related to being a verb, which has the almost, I mean, one may argue, but to me, it comes from the same root word, Ayyub and Awwab. So Ayyub means the one who is Awwab, constantly turning to God, using every occasion to be a means of communicating with God. If something happens to me that I really like it, it is a means of communicating with God because I am happy with it. The sense of happiness is given to me in order to appreciate the goodness in creation. So I have to express my gratitude to my Creator, saying that, oh, you gave me this. I'm very happy with your mercy. Now, how about in the negative sense, which means something hurts me? Anything. Now, anything you are not happy is affliction. Now, as a believer in God, if someone doesn't believe in God, this is out of question here. This person has to first study and concentrate on whether the universe exists by itself or not. His problem is very fundamental. But we are talking about the situation of the believers here. And the situation of the believers, if you believe that the universe must have a creator, that's it. You solve the problem. Foundation is not ready, is now ready. So you will say that it's the creator of the universe created my senses. Sense of happiness is created for me to express my gratitude. Sense of pain, sense of being unhappy is also created about what? We started the discussion today, not complaining God. No. Turning to God and asking Him to provide you with the health, with the solution for your problems. That is how we should deal it. So patience has two aspects. One aspect looks to the pain, that we shouldn't complain about the pain, complain God about the pain that He created. No, but we complain about the pain, but don't use it as a means of complaint of God or to God. We shouldn't turn our complaint to God. Do you see the difference now? Especially the question was about this. So how much are we going to wait? No, you don't have to wait. Immediately utilize it. For example, you wake up in the morning, you see that, oh, the light, the sunlight is almost coming out, and turn to God. Say, thank you for creating a new day for me and creating my life again, enjoying this new day. So pray your Fajr, morning prayer. This is an excuse for you to connect with God. So you wake up and it is stormy and the winds are really hurting you and you got cold and your nose is running, you have a headache. You are not happy with it. All right, that's all right. You are not happy with it, express it, accept it, because as far as being patient on the earth, whatever is created here is concerned. Be careful, I am repeating this very fine point. Your complaint about the affliction that happens in this world, the pain that you are experiencing in this world is concerned. You have to be patient with the Creator, but you shouldn't be patient with the affliction. But use it immediately. Don't wait until it becomes unbearable. Because it may be used by Satan, it turns into your heart problem, your tongue problem, which means you start developing doubt about your belief in God or God's mercy. And you cannot say that, oh God, you are merciful, I know. But you are in pain. How can you say that you are merciful, I know? Yes, he is merciful in the universe, but as far as you are concerned, what he has created for you, yes, it is out of his mercy. Sure, it is out of his mercy. There is no doubt about it. But you are in pain. So don't let Satan to take it up and use it against your belief in God. You have to understand this. Momina says in the chat box, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. I have to leave. Okay. I thought you were going to ask a question. I see. Of course, I will be in the event at 6 o'clock. So inshallah, we will stop this event at 6. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I'm pleased. Thank you, Momina. So, did you get your answer, by the way? So this Ayyub, it means being Ayyub, if you like, the same pattern. So being Ayyub, that is, some people interpret it in this way, and I really liked it, and it makes sense. And it is not really completely contradictory to Arabic grammar at all. No, it is acceptable because as a result of using the word Ayyub, turning it into a name Ayyub is quite reasonable way of utilizing the words in Arabic. That is general practice anyways. So let's go back. I think, first of all, if there is still some problems in the question that how long I should wait and what is the difference, yes, I will be patient with the pain, not turn it into a complaint of God. Now, that needs patience. But at the same time, I will be patient in being constantly turning to God, asking him to remove this pain from me. Did you get it? So it is not easy subject. And also, you may not hear this understanding. People just say, whatever Allah gives, he is merciful, be patient with it. Come on, there's a wisdom in every creation. There must be a purpose in it. So if the pain afflicts you, it means there is a call from your God saying that, hey, utilize it before Satan takes it up and use it against your belief in God. I think this problem is very, very general among the believers that they cannot really solve it. For example, in Torah tradition, it is a really big problem because the relationship between affliction and Satan has not been established, and also relationship between being patient and being Ayyub, which means turning to God constantly. So this balance has not clearly stated in whole chapter in the Torah. It's a separate book, actually, independent book in Torah. I mentioned it before. So that is not our subject. We are not criticizing people's belief and attitude, etc. That's none of our business. We have to take care of our own problems and try to find out the solution for it. So if the case is clear that the patient has two aspects, one is real and we are asked to turn back to God, accept the pain, never say that I am okay with the pain, it is from God. No. God has created us the sense of disliking it, utilize it. So before Satan picks it up, be careful, you pick it up and use it in order to communicate with the Creator. It is beautiful. So we should know that. Now, we should know that The principle shall we remember again once more. Patience means turning to God to present your case without complaining. God, then that He's created something hurting me. No, but if you are in pain, you have to accept this pain, admit it. I am in pain. Oh my God, admitting. But you are merciful. Please, please, I need your mercy to remove it from me. We said any kind of affliction, social affliction, relationship. We all mentioned that. I'm just summarizing it. So we understand that there are two types of worship. One is called active worship. The other one is called negative worship. Yep. So the positive worship, positive worship, passive worship. Positive worship, active worship is when Allah gives us, the Creator gives us some bounties. Anything causes the sense of grace in us. That is important for us to notice, that it causes Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, I am happy with you. That it is easy to say, then it is easy to handle with. When you are happy with something, of course, I mean, you are happy with the creator of that thing, so you feel relaxed. But the most the most difficult is the passive worship. What does it mean, passive worship? Passive worship is when you are afflicted with pain, you go to God and say, oh God, I am afflicted with this pain. Please remove it from me. I need your help. I am desperately in need of your mercy. I admit this. Please God help me. But it is a negative side, not negative, passive worship. When you express your neediness, you cannot be proud of it. But when you express your thankfulness, your gratefulness, you say, I'm very grateful with God. That's why it is a bit really questionable. But in the passive worship, you cannot question it, because somebody says, I need God. Please, I'm speaking to God. Please, God, help me. I'm not proud of this position, but in the active prayer, positive side of this worship, we may be proud of being a very good, I am having a very good relationship with my God. Though that is also a problem. That may cause a problem, but what passive worship doesn't cause a problem in the heart of the people. We can, if you like, we can, okay. If you like, we can continue this. Now, how many people? So please, can you show what by hitting green yes button that we will continue about it, or no button that's enough. You got the main gist of the problem, so we can manage with it, inshallah. Oh, okay, that's enough. Yes, everybody says except me. I'm saying, but I'm just showing it. All right, thank you. We will continue next week, inshallah, this subject, although we will emphasize the main critical point that you may not hear very often from the people or in the Muslim culture. So look at this Muslim culture's approach is different from what we have been doing here. We are going into the, analyzing the case and going into the details. Okay, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So I have to join our QC students event now, which is an important event. So wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I have to just stop sharing, and please stop also recording.